if you think about it, I think like stats are like 2021, it was like 1.2% of capital went to black businesses. Today, it's 0.3%, right? That's a period of 5 years. And that is a dramatic decline on an already tiny number. If we're 13, 14% of the population, right? And the investments that come our way are less than 1% of the funds that are being invested, then we're not going to be able to build these businesses. Yeah. And then the few that we do build, we have to make sure survive.
What's happening, man? We got to actually get it out the mud, right? I'm glad they talked about the investment part because when people talk about black business, they tell you, you get credit, go to banks, but for the most part, we can't raise capital like that. Just, because of how things run. Now, 215 billion invested in startups, 0.3%. So that's close to like 650 million, right? So imagine the other 214 billion pretty much goes to other communities, right? And people turn around, wait, why black people don't have this and that and this and that? And it's like, yeah, it's part of being frozen out in the business market too. Like, can people make something out of nothing? Absolutely. And it goes to the individualistic part of Black America. It's like we're individuals. We can't work together. No, we don't have. You got to build from nothing to something to the point that you can work with other people, and then you gotta connect with those other people. And the problem normally is y'all are not in the same field or the same circles, and y'all don't know how to make y'all two businesses mesh for something else. So that's the issue. Because when you talk about the business market of people are talking about it like poor people need to come together, middle class people need to come together, but the people who are in the business class they need to come together. But here's the other thing that sometimes get left out. Stereotypically, the business class has a habit of hiring incompetent black people on purpose, whether they be family, friends, the same nepotism that goes on in every other community. But because it happens in ours, it affects our business worse, basically. And since it affects our business worse, then it's a bigger issue, I guess. Then you got the thing where you don't really want black people to come together to support your black business, but you don't want black people to come together and support everybody else. So it's like if I didn't work from nothing to something, I want y'all to support my business. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna support y'all businesses. You get what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother thing. And the capital part is really something like we already know. We already know this. So we don't expect companies to fund us, or we don't expect startups, we don't expect angel investors, we don't expect bank approval. And if we get that approval, we don't expect um, fair interest rates. We don't expect people to treat us fairly when it comes to renting commercial space or getting good prices from wholesalers. You're supposed to, but you know, maybe not. You get what I'm saying? You gotta shop around sometimes. So when it comes to black businesses, we have obstacles that other communities don't have. Not to mention, especially like foreigners, um, they're closer to the sources in their countries, so they can get products shipped here and do that. We're not like we can't do that, but we can do it, but um we're gonna have to go through somebody to go through somebody to go through somebody. Like, it's not like going to the source and say, "Hey, man, I need this, that, and the third." No, because people try to screw us. So am I saying you shouldn't start a business? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that black people are bad in business? That's not true. What I'm saying is people like to lie about the obstacles we face, even in the business community. You know, and then sometimes here's a thing that we don't want to talk about. Sometimes because of the wholesalers, the marketplace, and all these other businesses, it looks like we overcharge our own people when we have to support our community. That's what it looks like. Sometimes we are overcharged, and sometimes the businesses are overcharged for everything, and they pass that and they try to make a profit with their products to the consumer. And it's like, oh, I can get this for cheaper over there. I know you can. I know you can because they're not paying the same rate as I'm paying. That's a way to get people out of business. That's a thing. Then not and this is a short clip, so he might have mentioned how people sabotage black folks' businesses. That happens a lot. You know, we got to make sure your business paperwork is in order, even when it's in order. But then you go to other businesses and it's like, I don't think they check this place like they check black folks because they don't. Because they don't. You know, and even when I'm talking about the sabotage, I'm also talking about you start doing good in businesses and you got competition you didn't know you had, right? So even people in business near you, oh man, they getting too much traffic, they making too much money. Mm, uh, I got to drop a dime on them. you know, I don't like that. I don't like that shit at all. So you have that. You can be in two completely different industries, but cool. It's not going. You try you win and I'm not. It's that type of scenario. And then um, one of the other things about like investing in businesses or startup investment, people want to. People look like it looks to me, and historically, in a sense, we have to negotiate for control in ways other people don't. I invented it. It's my product. I want control. No, 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 no. We'll get control, and we'll take your invention and give it back to you in 35 years. No, G. No, 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 no. Kind of like, um, it's crazy, but you remember how recently, before Diddy got in trouble, and people talked about this before. He was talking about how is it Diageo? He basically expanded the brand with Ciroc, and they wouldn't pay him what he was. They wouldn't stick to their contract and pay him what he deserves and give him his own brand. They sabotaged him. But then they turned around and I think it was like what is that tequila, the George Clooney joint. But George Clooney wasn't the only one. Um, I forgot the name of that tequila, but uh, they basically gave him the deal that they wouldn't give Diddy because hey, he's white, baby. And they give other white people the same deal. Like, hey, you white, baby. Now they don't sell at the same rate though. They don't sell at the same rate. It's like, all right, because Diddy did the groundwork of marketing from the ground up. These other people not about to do that. They're like, man, listen, man, just put it on a billboard and drive around and they'll buy it. And that's a thing too. Uh, I don't want to say it this way. Uh, the other, like, sometimes the best way to do business if you black is to be faceless. You know what I'm saying? Be faceless. If you can, be voiceless. Or have somebody else that don't have your voice talk for you, unless you can put on a good white voice. You know, because you know people don't want people have an issue with black people succeeding. So that even goes with the angel investing. And I hate to say this, people will invest in a black person's idea of another ethnicity stole it from them. They can know it's hey, we took it from the black guy. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. They'll cover that up, and we'll get our legal team on it. Right. I got you. I understand now. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.